You really cannot get away from pharmaceuticals. Even if you are not involved directly with them, they show up multiple times a day in commercials. Currently valued at $1.25 trillion, the 2021 market is expected to grow to $1.5 trillion. Needless to say, pharmaceuticals are big money. And where there is big money, there is the opportunity to commit fraud. We are going to take a quick look at some common fraud schemes used in this industry and revisit one of the largest fraudsters convicted in the pharmaceutical market. Good marketing practice, GMP, requires manufacturers to have adequately equipped manufacturing facilities, adequately trained staff, stringent control over manufacturing processes, and appropriately controlled labs, accurate record keeping and reporting, and appropriate finished product examination. When a drug maker does not have these things, they are either not permitted or set up false facilities, staff, and processes to get around required regulation. Although off-label brands can be prescribed, the FDA prohibits drug manufacturers from marketing or promoting a drug that is not FDA approved. A manufacturer may illegally misbrand a drug if the labeling includes unapproved uses such as inadequate directions for use, such as dosage or administration. Pharmacies are required to fill a patient's prescription as written by the ordering physician. Manufacturers are required to report their best price for their product. This includes cash discounts and free goods that are contingent on purchase and volume discounts along with rebates. This is often referred to as a drug's average wholesale price or average manufacturer price. Drug manufacturers may manipulate their best price to reduce the amount of money they must return to Medicaid programs. Speaking of Medicaid pricing fraud is rampant in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. Companies often misrepresent material facts regarding regulatory origin or status of brand name drugs. Billing insurers for medications that have been manipulated is a common practice in Medicaid fraud. Some common Medicare fraud schemes include billing for drugs that are not actually provided or covered by Medicare, billing for drugs diverted for illegal purposes such as opioids or controlled substances, selling expired drugs, billing for drugs dispensed without a prescription, or false prescription or issuing a prescription from an unauthorized or non-existent healthcare provider. Compounded drugs are used when a commercial option is not available, and a physician requires that the drug be compounded to meet a medical purpose for a patient. Drug companies may also violate regulations around compounding by creating mass compounding of large batches of drugs instead of the individualized service. They may also inflate the mixture to increase the cost of a drug. At this point, most of us are familiar with the common kickback scheme. A company or unruly sales rep may lavish gifts upon medical professionals for selling their product. These rewards may include cash, jewelry, vacations, etc. These spiffs may also be referred to as consulting fees. There have been several pharmaceutical fraud cases that have made the news. In 2009, a whistleblower settlement cost Pfizer $2.3 billion for civil and criminal allegations involving Bextra, Lipitor, Viagra, and several other drugs. In 2012, GlaxoSmithKline pled guilty to criminal charges and paid a $3 billion settlement related to illegal promotion of prescription drugs, even bribing doctors and promoting medicines for use they were not licensed for. But probably the most high-profile convicted fraudster is pharma bro Martin Shkreli, who as CEO of Retrofin and Turing Pharmaceuticals obtained licensing for the manufacturing of the antiparasitic drug Daraprim and proceeded to raise its price from $13.50 per pill to $750 per pill. Shkreli was charged and convicted of 2 counts of securities fraud and 1 count of conspiring to commit securities fraud. He was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison and paid up to $7.4 million in fines. He was also ordered to pay $388,000 in restitution. Because these industries are predominantly governed by government agencies, it can be tough to report and prevent fraud. Most cases are reported to the oversight agencies by whistleblower employees working for the fraudulent pharmaceutical company. However, even consumers can catch and report fraud simply by reviewing explanations of benefits or discussing your prescriptions with your physician. While these companies do receive significant fines and punishment for committing fraud, That price is often a drop in the bucket compared to the revenue they can generate from a fraudulent drug they are producing.